This is My People Are Destroyed for the Lack of Knowledge, Hosea 4:6, by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Part 1.
Praise Yahweh. Welcome to Feast of Weeks. Praise Yahweh. It is here at the Feast of Weeks and other high holy days that we learn our true history, the world's best kept secret. It is here that we learn the name of our God, who is the God of the Bible, and who research verifies. His name is Yahweh. And there's no other name under heaven whereby men can be saved except Yahweh. And that's the way it is. Praise Yahweh. This is not an emotional trip, though we are emotional about the knowledge. We are not captured by emotions. We deal only with logic. And that's why your enemy made you an illogical people. That's why the enemy to the so-called black man of America programmed your mind through Little Red Riding Hood. That's why your enemy programmed your mind through Alice in Wonderland. That's why your enemy programmed your brainwashed you to accept Cinderella. That's why your enemy programmed and brainwashed you to go along with Santa Claus. That means that every lie you learned before school, kindergarten, in the first grade through the 12th grade, Christmas and Easter and all the other Thanksgiving and Druid and other wicked holidays have been programmed into your brain, brainwashed you to accept lies and fantasy like the rat in Disney World. Your enemy has done this to your brain, brainwashed you. From your birth until you meet me, you have been brainwashed to love a lie and hate the truth. You have been brainwashed to love deception and the deceiver, and to not look for your Savior, your Redeemer, your regenerator, your resurrector. You will be unable to resurrect him and to receive him and to recognize him because you've been brainwashed to look for Santa Claus flying in the sky with red-nosed reindeer. You have been brainwashed to believe lies. So don't come looking at me funny and strange like I'm the one going to brainwash you or set you up with some strange ideas. You've been strange all your life. Yes, when you meet me, you meet a man that will teach you a new truth. A truth that you haven't heard for 6,000 long years. That's where my message originates. My message was stopped 6,000 years ago when this world of wicked rulership based on lies and deception, greed, lust, and get all you can for yourself. When that philosophy was instituted through Lucifer, carried on through Cain, and brought on down until this day, then the truth from the true and living God has not been taught to you. So it seems strange to you today. I know what I say sounds strange to you. Praise God. Yes, you may come come programmed to look at me strange, I wonder what this man is going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about what you've never heard before. I'm going to be talking about what you need and have never had access to before. But see, you are programmed to question me, but you don't question the wicked teachings you've received all your life. You don't question a white Jesus hanging up in your church when he is really a black man. You don't question your enemy who holds you down in your community and cause you to have self-hatred for yourself. You hate your own kind, say you love everybody, but you're a damn lie. You don't love everybody, you only love white people. Yes, your brain has been reversed against itself. You are the only people on the planet Earth walking around with a mind that is backwards. You call good bad. When you hear a record that you like, you say, ain't that bad, man? You see a woman and a man that you really like, how she look and he look, you say, ain't that bad, man? You put on some clothes or you see someone dressed up in finery and you say, ain't that bad, man? People come up and talk to you, no wonder they're confused. You call good bad. And when you get ready to go have an evil, wicked time, you say, I'm going to have a good time. You know your mind is messed up. So I challenge you to love me. You say you love your enemy. I'm not your enemy. Surely if you love your enemy, you can love me, a man that loves you and does good all the day long. Surely. Welcome to Feast of Weeks. Feast of Weeks. The Feast of Weeks is the second of the three great festivals of your and my history, Israel. We, the so-called black people of America, are the tribe of Judah of Israel. And let us turn to 1 Chronicles 28:4 and see who we are, your role and destiny as Judah. Read.
Howbeit, the Lord God Yahweh of Israel chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever. For he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah, the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, he liked me to make me king over all Israel.
Some of you may wonder, why in the world would any people up from slavery in America be celebrating Bible holy days? You should ask yourself the question, why is it that you feel estranged from celebrating the high holy days of the Bible that's required by God forever? These are high holy days required forever. The reason that we as a people have not practiced these holy days, though we all have a Bible in our home, is because we were cut off from the knowledge that we are Israel. We didn't know. When you don't know, then you must read Hosea 4:6. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. All right, read.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God Yahweh, I will also forget thy children.
That answers what happened to our children. What's wrong with our children in America? Now you see what happened to our children. One scripture says that we will sow our seed and the enemy will eat it and devour it. Where is that? Leviticus 26:16. Read.
I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Your seed is your children. And you having children in vain because your enemy is eating up your seed through abortion, killing them, brutalizing your children, and taking your children's minds away from you. And they do their own thing, which is not their thing. They didn't create the thing they're doing. Your children did not create marijuana, cocaine, crack cocaine, and heroin. Your enemy destroys your children with drugs and self-hate. But it really happened because you're without the knowledge of your God. Because you forgot the law which protects you and your children. And as a result, your children are destroyed. Your enemy eats them up. I am come to restore that which was taken from you. I'm not only come to do it, but I am restoring that which was taken from you. And you are blessed to hear this knowledge which restores you. Now that you have just received is a synoptic overview, a little quick, short synoptic overview as to why you have not been practicing Feast of Weeks all of your life. And the reason your parents did not practice the laws of the Bible and the laws of God. The laws of God never change any more than gravity changes. The day that gravity no longer works, then you can say the laws of Yahweh changed. Until then, they remain the same. Feast of Weeks is the conclusion of Feast of Passover and Unleavened Bread. We celebrate Feast of Weeks in the third month of the solar calendar. 7 weeks, exactly 7 weeks, exactly 7 Sabbaths after Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. If you did not practice Feast of Weeks, then you did not practice Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. To keep Feast of Weeks is to keep Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. They're all the laws of your Creator. The scriptures teach us that Feast of Weeks owes its origin to the harvest which culminates at this time, which really began at the end of Feast of Tabernacles. Excuse me, not Tabernacles, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. And our forefathers always recognized Yahweh's bounty, his blessings, with the first fruits of the harvest. From Exodus chapter 19, it has been made clear that the law was delivered on the 50th day after the Exodus. Thus, the Feast of Harvest, the Feast of Weeks. Now, it is conjectured that a connection between that event and this festival occurs in Deuteronomy chapter 16. Turn to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16. The so-called black man of America is out of orbit. He is out of place. He is outside of the knowledge of himself as Hebrew Israelites by nationality. We've been going through a metamorphosis in this country from colored to Negro to black to African American, proving without question you have not known who you were. And it proves you don't know who you are until you come into the knowledge of Yahweh. Since we're not in control of a land of our own, we certainly cannot bring the bounty of wheat, corn, and barley to this feast. In fact, I doubt that you know how to grow it. And if you knew and know how to grow it, you would have had to have owned some land and made plans in your planting to be able to grow it and have it ready on time now to present it. Since my people are without a land of their own and are still mental and spiritual captives in America, then this Feast of Weeks has to be from a spiritual orientation. And since you have forgotten the law, it means that when I speak the law to you, you will be without the knowledge required to truly understand what I say. And what complicates the matter is I will be speaking spiritually, and that will be considered above your head. And if not above it, beyond it. The extent to which you receive Yahweh, the extent to which you receive me as the Son of Yahweh, is the extent to which you will come to understand what I'm teaching. It will come to grow on you. Of course, if you prefer Santa Claus to me, you won't understand anything I say tonight. That's the way it is. You know what I mean when I say if you prefer Santa Claus to me, don't you? It means if you prefer the brainwashing you've received all your life instead of the truth as you read and study it, you won't understand what I say. Deuteronomy 16:12, verse 12. Read.
And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes.
Shall observe and do these statutes. Here you've been given orders of what to observe and what to do. Why haven't you been doing it? First, you have not learned what the statutes are. Had no idea the statutes applied to you. It says, and thou shalt remember. What does that indicate? You have forgotten. And thou shalt remember means you are subject to forget. And when you forget, then Hosea 4:6 is fulfilled. And thou forgot the law of your God. And when you did, you and your children are also forgotten. And your children are devoured and destroyed in your face. Obviously, my coming, causing you to remember, is to bring you back into the knowledge of these statutes. Isn't it interesting that almost every home in America has this Bible, but does not remember the statutes? Ironic, isn't it? 400,000 preachers in America alone, and they don't have any of their brainwashed followers keeping the statutes or in knowledge of the statutes that this Bible says are in force. How long? Forever. Once instituted, never to be forgotten. And you should also remember, not only have you been a slave in America, but you were also a bondman in Egypt. Oh, I know what's wrong. You thought Israel was another people and not yourself. I understand. It's you who did not understand. As long as you believe Israel is another people, you'll never relate to this. You don't remember. So we have 60 million so-called black people in America running around with amnesia in a total state of forgetfulness. Here's a 60 million so-called black people in America who cannot remember their history. We have 60 million so-called black people in America who cannot remember their own culture. Celebrate everybody's culture but your own. Everybody's. Yes, you do. You even have black folk in America put on green. What day is that? See, you know it. Where does St. Patrick come from? Ireland? You speak Irish? Have Irish names? Then why do you know about St. Patrick's Day? I told you you were brainwashed. Nothing personal, you know. I don't have anything against you personally or anything. It's just we have to face it. We've been brainwashed to celebrate everybody's culture, and nobody celebrates yours. Neither do you celebrate yours before my coming. You don't know what yours is. Chop suey. What? Pizza. See, I told you. Tacos. Sake. See, you know everybody's. Shitterlings. Oh, I make my point well to logical people. And of course, if you're illogical and can't see the logic in what I present, then we are beyond you right now. Someone may be able to break what I'm saying down to you one day, and even you'll get it. Right now, I must hurry on and continue with knowledge about the Feast of Weeks. Here in Deuteronomy 16:12, we see we lost our memory. And yet we've been in slavery twice already. And we'll tell you quick right now, let's forget the past and start with now. The only people in the public schools that says, let's forget the past, is 60 million so-called black folk in America. But one group have you remembering tacos. Another group have you remembering pizza. Huh? Another group have you remembering wooden shoes. Where wooden shoes come from? See, you know all about it. Another group of people have you putting on green, call it St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. Another group of people teach you to believe in something that's I haven't been able to understand yet. And that is a rabbit laying an egg. What is that? Rabbit? What? Easter? I mean, and the church celebrates rabbits laying eggs. And say rabbit eggs. How many have seen that called rabbit eggs? True or false? See, it's false. Rabbits don't lay eggs. You didn't know what I was saying. You were wondering, is it true that goes on? I'll help you out. You're so confused, you need a lot of help. But you don't know your own. Mm-hmm.